I was a licensed therapist with multiple clinics, a full team of staff, and a wait list of clients. And I couldn't leave my own house. Not for groceries, not for a walk around the block, not even to stand on my own front porch without feeling like I was going to die. I was housebound for 13 months. And the most terrifying part, I knew exactly what was happening to me. I had the degree, the training, the clinical hours. I had sat across from dozens of clients who described this very thing. But knowing what anxiety is does not make you immune to it, and it does not make it go away. This is my story, and if you're watching this because you're struggling, whether it's agoraphobia, panic attacks, or an anxiety that's quietly shrinking your world, I want you to stay until the end, because I'm going to tell you not just what happened to me, but what actually helped. It didn't happen overnight. Burnout rarely does. I had been running at full speed for years, multiple physical clinics, staff to manage, clients to support. And then on top of all of that, I was a mum. I was trying to hold everything together for everyone all the time. And then one day my nervous system said, enough. The first panic attack hit me out of nowhere, heart racing, vision closing in, this overwhelming certainty that something was very, very wrong. I remember thinking, am I having a heart attack? Am I dying? My brain was screaming danger, even though I was just sitting in my own office. I pushed through it because that's what we do, right? We push through. But then it happened again, and slowly, almost without me realizing it, I started avoiding the things that felt unsafe. First, it was crowded places, then it was driving, then it was being too far from home. And before long, home was the only place that felt safe. 13 months. I didn't leave. My world had collapsed down to 4 walls, and even inside those walls, I was not okay. I was exhausted, I was ashamed, and I was terrified that this was just who I was now. The lowest point, and I don't share this lightly, but was realizing that I had helped so many people work through their anxiety, and I couldn't apply a single one of those tools to myself. That felt like the cruelest kind of irony. I remember sitting on my bathroom floor one afternoon, just completely undone, thinking, if I can't fix this and I'm the one who's supposed to know how, what hope do I have? That was my turning point, not because I magically got better that day, but because I made a decision to stop trying to think my way out of this and start actually listening to what my body was telling me. Here's what I want to be really honest with you about. The thing that finally helped me was not what I expected. I had been trained in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I knew exposure therapy inside and out, and those things did play a role in my recovery, but they weren't the whole picture. And for a long time, I couldn't understand why I was doing all the right things and still not getting better. What I discovered through my own healing and then through years of working with clients is that anxiety is not just a thought problem, it is a body problem. And until you address what's happening underneath, the mindset work only goes so far. So here are the 3 things that genuinely moved the needle for me. The first was understanding my nervous system, not just my thoughts. When you're in a chronic state of anxiety, your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight. It's scanning for danger constantly. And no amount of telling yourself you're safe, calm down will switch that off. Because the part of your brain driving that response doesn't speak in logic, it speaks in sensation. I stopped trying to argue my way out of panic and started learning how to actually regulate my nervous system. Things like breath work, not the kind that makes anxiety worse, but slow, extended exhales that literally signal safety to your vagus nerve. Things like cold water on my wrists, grounding through my feet, gentle movement, simple, unglamorous. But they worked. The second was looking at my root causes, especially blood sugar and hormones. This one is rarely talked about in anxiety circles, and it absolutely changed my life. I was running on coffee and stress. My blood sugar was all over the place, spiking and crashing throughout the day, and every single crash was feeding my anxiety. The shakiness, the racing heart, the sudden dread that hits at 3 p.m., for so many of us, that is not a panic attack. That is a blood sugar crash, and your body cannot tell the difference. I also discovered that hormonal fluctuations, which I was absolutely experiencing, can dramatically amplify anxiety. Estrogen and progesterone directly impact your mood, your nervous system regulation, your sleep quality. When those are out of balance, anxiety becomes almost impossible to manage with mindset work alone. Once I started eating to stabilize my blood sugar, regular meals, protein at every sitting, reducing the sugar spikes, and started addressing my hormonal health, the background hum of anxiety that I had just accepted as normal began to quiet. The third was very gradual, very intentional exposure on my own terms. Here's what a lot of people get wrong about exposure therapy. They think it means white-knuckling through the fear, forcing yourself into the scary situation until your brain gives up fighting it. That's not how I did it, and honestly, that approach had been making things worse for me. Instead, I started impossibly small. On day 1, I opened my front door and stood in the doorway. That was it. I didn't step out. I just stood there, felt the outside air, and let my nervous system adjust to that one tiny step. The next day, I stepped onto the porch, then the top step, then the path. Week by week, with my nervous system properly regulated and my body chemistry more balanced, the fear began to lose its grip. Because I wasn't pushing through terror, I was building evidence that I could be safe, evidence that my body could handle it, evidence that the world wasn't as dangerous as my brain had decided it was. 13 months of barely leaving the house, and then slowly, one doorstep at a time, I came back. If you're watching this and any of it sounds familiar, I want you to hear this. There is nothing wrong with you. Your nervous system did exactly what it was designed to do. It tried to protect you. The problem isn't that you're broken. The problem is that your brain got stuck in protection mode and nobody showed you how to turn it off. You are not your anxiety. You are not your panic attacks. You are not the size of your world right now. I know what it feels like to be a high-functioning person on the outside, maybe even someone who helps others, while quietly falling apart on the inside. I know the shame of that, the exhaustion of hiding it, the grief of watching your life get smaller. And I also know that it doesn't have to stay that way. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to take one tiny step. If you want to go deeper on what I've shared today, I have created a program that walks you through exactly the process I used: nervous system regulation, the root cause approach to anxiety, and step-by-step exposure work that actually feels manageable. The link is in the description below. I also host a podcast called Online Anxiety Therapy Podcast, where I go into all of this in even more depth. Come find me there. And if this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs it, because the right video at the right time can change everything. I'll see you in the next one.